opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, we do encourage you to like and share them on social media. It's time for the Sue-Ellen Sanders Show with the one and only Sue-Ellen Sanders.
Thank you, and thanks for joining me today. I'm so excited that we get to get up to date with Graceway Village. Cathy Mouring is their executive director, and she is here with us today. You may have seen the article on the cover of Luminaries, and so you may know what's new with Graceway, but not everybody has. So we'll find out more about that as the show progresses. Mary Beth Cullins is also with us today, and she is the chairman of the board for Graceway Village. Welcome to both of you.
Wonderful being here. Yeah. Wonderful being here, Sue-Ellen.
And we're going to talk a little bit about the roots of Graceway, and how it got started and why it got started, about the services, how you pivoted during the pandemic, and served more people really than ever before, and then the programs that you're working on now and how you're moving forward in the future. So Cathy, let's start it off with you. You want to talk a little bit about the roots and how Graceway first got started?
Certainly. I mean, our current facility, what used to be First Presbyterian Church, and when they merged with Indian River Presbyterian, the only condition they had on the current property was to use it in some form for the sake of the community. So Indian River Presbyterian Church, they're the ones who initially opened Graceway Village. They had done their search and they realized that there were two unmet needs in our community, and for the area particularly, and that was to provide clothing for children and teens in great need, as well as to food assistance through a food kitchen. And so that's how it started 12 years ago, back in 2009. And it has just continued serving in that capacity all of these years, and continued as well to this day. Of course, COVID just did a pivot, was the perfect word. It's one of my favorite words coming from friends, of course. Yes. But we pivoted on March 10th. We went from 1 night a week food to 7 nights a week food, just like that. No budget for it, didn't matter. We were, we either mean what we say or we just don't do it. And so we did, and the community has stepped in fully to embrace the work. And we have now settled down to, since the 1st of December, to 4 nights a week. And we're moving forward with that as remaining constant.
So it's almost like you went from being at a regular pace to running as fast as you could. Yes. And now you've slowed down a little bit, but you're still running really fast and feeding the hungry and the needy, and even those who just are just temporarily needing the assistance. And because, as we all know, there are quite a lot of people in every community that are just one paycheck away from needing help. And rather than create a situation where they're embarrassed, here's an opportunity for them just to come to a church that will feed them, no questions asked.
Absolutely. Well, it's no longer a church. We became independent in 2016. Right. And so we've moved on. And the reality is we went from serving 150 meals a week. Now we're serving 1,000 meals a week, which is a wonderful pivot to do. And we went from simply serving it on site to thinking outside the box. How can we help our community? They couldn't all get to us. So now we have our on-site feedings, but we also have 8 distribution teams that go out and deliver food to areas that couldn't get to us,
that's awesome. And
it is.
And you said it's not really church-based anymore. Of course, it's not run by Indian River Presbyterian Church. However, the members of your board of directors are very much affiliated with different religious organizations in the area, correct?
It's not a requirement to be on our board to be a member of a particular church. No.
No. But I mean, it's not a requirement, but you still, what I'm getting at is
Yeah.
you still have that faith-based element.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
The grace and mercy and love of Christ is definitely at the foundation of all that we do. We're not evangelical. It does not matter. It does not matter where anybody comes from or what their beliefs are. We just want to meet their needs.
Right. And glad to see you back again, Mary Beth.
Yay.
I had to call in on my phone because my computer is not cooperating.
And you still look great. So
Okay.
keep it on the screen. So while you were in between, we were just talking about how a Graceway has gone from feeding 150 meals a week to over 1,000. And the outreach has changed from people 100% having to come to you to having the teams of people that go out to some people who need to be fed or need the extra assistance, but aren't able to get to the building. Whoa, did you hear that?
Good. I'm glad I'm here. Yes.
Yes. So we're going to hope that everybody's electricity holds out as we deal with another Florida rainstorm. But Mary Beth, let's talk about how you got started with Graceway and why you feel the need to serve as the chairman of the board of directors.
I got started not long after Cathy came on board, but I had heard about it previously about their clothing closet, but I became involved with it initially through the meals. We were helping with the service on site for a while, but in the last several years, my husband and I deliver to the 7th Street location and built up a relationship because you see a lot of the same people. And I will deviate and say that we just recently were able to start going back into the building, and it's been really well received. I'm glad to do that. Some of the people had trouble getting outside when we were having to meet them due to COVID, meeting them outside rather than going into their building. Some of the people had trouble actually coming down. So we're able to go to their rooms again. And that's a nice relief to them as well. Anyway, so that was how I started. And that's where I still volunteer primarily, but I also became involved with procedures that we were working on as preliminary, trying to line things up for the transitional living facility. Went visiting some existing facilities, just kind of got inundated with that, kind of have an operational background myself, so that seemed to fit nicely with me. But then there was an opening on the board, and Cathy approached me about serving, and I just felt like it was a good way to spend my time, to reach out to the community. I'm really interested in the living facility. I know that what we do primarily serves the needs of people, I guess on a short-term basis, but the living facility to me just calls on my heart because there's such a need, and I feel like there's a void. And we even tried, a little indoctrination with a family that we were trying to help preliminarily. Excuse me. But so anyway, it's been an honor and a privilege. Working, I've got something in my throat. I'm sorry, I'm choking a little.
Okay. Well, I was going to ask Cathy to jump in here anyhow, because you referenced the article on Luminary on the front page of Luminaries, and you want to tell us a little bit about that transitional living facility that you are moving forward with.
Oh gosh, I love to talk about this, Sue-Ellen. Absolutely. It's actually, we renamed it to the Family Restorative Living Facility. For many years, it was the family transitional living facility, and we just changed the wording, but we just like the sound of it better. It's a bit softer, and restorative means truly that there is already within them the foundation of capabilities to accomplish the goals in order to be self-sufficient and healthy family units. So currently in St. Lucie County, there's a tremendous shortage of assistance for families who are threatened with homelessness. And I know that can be said anywhere, but we're really focused here on St. Lucie County. And the fact that there are families living in cars and campgrounds because there's not a place for them to go, it is really, I think, what motivates all of us on the board as we move forward with this campaign and the planning of it. These children certainly made no choices, didn't have any choice in this dynamic. And so if we can help their families, we know it's going to have a generational impact down the road. 2, 3, 4 generations from now are going to be directly impacted by the safe place they would get from living here at the family restorative facility and being given the opportunity to have professional guidance and support as they rebuild from the dynamics of their life. Sometimes it's a matter of just having a place to stay with support while you rebuild your finances so you can go out again. I mean, COVID has opened up it's a mass of people that are facing this now that were, when 39% of the people who were first furloughed with COVID earned less than $40,000 a year. These were hardworking, paycheck by paycheck people that were not able to have a savings, but they were doing it. They were accomplishing what was needed. And then this unexpected thing came. They were the first ones furloughed, and they didn't have the extra money. They didn't have savings, and it really was not their fault. And so they had to develop credit in order to sustain their families. And eventually many of them have been evicted, even though there's all kinds of fine things that kicks them out. And that's not very articulate right there, but that's just the truth of the matter. And so what we're seeing is they're now settling in hotels. They're spending a lot of money to have a roof over their head so that their children aren't in a car or a campground. And so we have expanded our meal services to right now 2 hotels. I just received some funding last night that will allow us to move into a 3rd to provide meals to help them out some more. But the numbers are exponentially growing every single week because of the dynamics of our economics.
So do the hotels work with the nonprofits at all to provide at least a better rate for these families that are I can see by the look on your face, not really, right?
Well, I have not had that discussion with them.
Oops, Cathy's frozen.
But what I can say, I can't really answer that per se. I know that they are very mindful about their situation and will contact us if there's somebody new. But there was something that Cathy was saying that made me think about this as far as the living facility. It can be it is emergency, so it can be short term for those people that are just trying to get back on their feet. But it can also be up to like 18 months, because there are the people that have the generational poverty, and they've got a lot of things that we can help them with other agencies to learn and to integrate into their lives. I mean, one of the people that we were working with, she doesn't even know how to do a grocery list. So there was just a lot of functional everyday things that we could help these people with. Oh wait, I just got a message from Cathy.
Okay. All right. But and so you have this group of people that need to learn too, and to have them all in the same location where you can do things like offer trainings that will get them to a place where they know how to balance a checkbook, or not necessarily a checkbook or a bank account now, and know how to prioritize their money, because sometimes we have a situation where their money does not go as far as it could because they don't know how to budget.
Right. And in that regard, I'm also going to say one of the other things that I've helped in the past with when we were, doing more in-person stuff, and we'll probably get there again. So we were having on-site courses, because it is one of the things that we ask of people that come, for clothing assistance, like every 4 months, that if they're not, in school or gainfully employed, that they have some kind of an education course. So we were doing on-site courses, and to what you said, I have a banking background. So those are some of the things that I helped with, is like budgeting, balancing a checkbook, exactly what you said. Those were 2 of the courses that I led, besides just education on fraud in general, because everybody's susceptible to it. So it's just so many basic things.
Here's the thing that I see too, is we have a whole generation of 20 people in their 20s and people in their 30s that if they were raised not having anything in their family, then now that they have a little, it's harder for them to learn how to make that little stretch into covering all aspects of their life. But let's talk a little bit more about the it's not the transitional, the restorative living facility, and that is now going to be fully funded, correct?
Well, we had funding to purchase the land. We still need to proceed in obtaining additional funding. We want to, build and have operational expenses already covered before we can, break ground. So we've not broken ground, although we are working with, a builder, architect, and engineer. But we are still raising funds and need to continue. So we hopefully have some other people that would come on board in a big way. Like we have recently had the privilege with the sponsor. We got somebody back.
Not yet.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Anyway, so we just recently had a very generous sponsor that enabled us to make this purchase, but we are not fully funded yet.
So you're funded as far as the land goes, the purchase of the land goes. So how many, you mentioned architect, builder, all the different local workmen that are chipping in, are they working to give you what you need at a cost basis, or are they donating their services as well?
Well, different things at different times. Sometimes we have people that are just, they're working with us at a greatly reduced rate. Some people will do in-kind donations. So, we've got a little bit of discounted prices, contributions, donations, but we still have quite an expense ahead of us to get the facility completely up and running, with getting salaries obtained for the people that we will need to staff and run the facility.
So let's talk about that, and let's talk about what the facility will provide. First of all, we already know the people that it's going to help. It's going to help people that are already in need, but also moving forward, those who have a temporary need of housing in order to keep the family together and not live in a car and not have to, or live in a hotel, and be able to send their kids to school in a regular neighborhood, instead of having them go from school to school.
Right.
So how will people move forward with that? Will they apply? Do you think they'll apply to have housing?
Yes. There will be an application process, because we want it to be safe for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So that, background checks are also involved, interviews, We want to make sure that we don't have people coming in that would be potentially dangerous for other residents. So there is some screening involved and the application involved, but we plan to have somebody on site, basically 24/7, that would be living there, an employee. We'll need counselors to help case managers, I guess you should say.
Mhm.
We plan to use the existing kitchen facilities so that we can have meals, central place where the meals are fixed and people come. We also plan to have the residents participate in the kitchen, grounds maintenance, just like you're in your own home. You have things that you've got to do and
Yeah.
responsibilities. So we envision even having a garden, that we potentially could use. Be nice to have a little play area for kids, a central common place to meet outside and play.
Well, the idea of the garden too is a neat idea because it's both calming, going out to the garden to work on something, and then you also feel like you're creating your own food supply.
Yeah.
Because you are.
Yeah.
So that's really cool too. So it looks like Cathy may be struggling with her volume because she keeps coming and going. So no, we cannot hear you yet. But so Mary Beth, we're going to talk about some of the things that Graceway already does and provides to give Cathy a chance just to get caught up. We talked about Matthew's Cafe, and for a while it was only, well, to begin with, it was only Sunday night. It was Sunday night that you provided meals. And then during the pandemic, it went to 7 nights a week. And now it is 5 nights. What nights are those? I can't.
Matthew's Cafe is 4 nights.
Oh, it's 4 nights. Okay.
Yeah, it's 4 nights. And I hope I get it right.
No, that's okay.
I'm not going to get it right. I don't even want to
It's
venture there.
okay,
We'll
because
back.
so let's talk about the website and the social media, because people can go to the website
Yes.
and look up all the information that they need as well.
Yes.
And then there's also the other service that Graceway provides right now is a service that is especially useful for families whose kids are beginning school, and that's the clothing boutique.
Yeah, historically, this has been a really heavy time at the clothing boutique in August. We've had, a little bit different shopping experience, but I think they might be back to regular shopping where you can come in with a volunteer that would take you around. It's a really cute boutique. Cathy is there visually for me.
Yes.
Kathy, are you in?
I think so. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Yay!
Okay. Mary Beth's done an awesome job. I just wanted to let you know. And I appreciate you making the effort to come back in. I'm looking forward to a day not so far away where we'll all be back in the studio again.
Absolutely. I was chuckling the whole time as I was working to get on, because I knew it was my best first experience. And oh my goodness, what a fun first experience this is. I'm going to jump in with the boutiques. What's happened, and we were closed for 4 months, and then we did appointments only for a couple months as we restructured and did what was necessary. But we've been open now since September 1st on 2 days a week instead of the old one. I mean, COVID's given us some opportunities to grow and change and serve more people. So we're thankful for that. And you're right, Mary Beth, it is definitely the back busy time. They were swamped yesterday and today. It's every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 to 2, they're open. And they're absolutely swamped. They had to turn people away both days, coming back next week as well. So we're really thankful that the community is coming and getting the assistance that they need.
How do people who are listening to this show get the opportunity to shop? How do they get signed up to come in and visit the boutique?
Okay, they can actually just come in nowadays. We don't require them to have the vouchers that we used to require.
Okay.
Here in Nevada, there's always been the biggest challenge, but about 3 years ago, United Way provided us a small grant in order to hire an individual who really focuses on the different communities that we serve. So she goes to all the different festivals and churches and apartments and you name it. She's done a fabulous job getting the word out. She stops and has a table at United Against Poverty once a week as well, just to continue with that outreach. So the numbers have increased a lot with that. We are thrilled she's still doing it. We want everyone to know that we are available for them to help in any way that we can.
And let's take a minute to talk about your need for volunteers and your need for stylish children's, boys and girls clothes, or young women's clothes, because you have a whole lot of teenagers that are shopping, young women or young men. You don't want the old lady stuff, but you know, if you've got, you know, some regular polo shirts or blouses or pants or blue jeans that, you know, are in every size, people can still bring them to you, and you guys will go through them, pick out the best of them, and then hang them up like it's a cute little clothing boutique.
It's an adorable clothing boutique, absolutely. And I'm so thankful to Ellen that you use the word style. You know, when I started 7 years ago, I thought I knew everything about poverty. And oh my God, I knew so little.
Your voice is being very fluttery, Cathy.
And I had to learn that really have it impressed upon me. Don't choose this. They're completely innocent. And they're just like, every child, hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
The atmosphere is a mess, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, what was the last thing you could eat?
Well, we heard you talk that children don't choose to, and then you're glad that I mentioned that it was boutique and stylish. I don't know how you were connected to the show, but possibly maybe you could disconnect and try it again.
I'll try to pick up.
Or even if you hold the phone and just do the voice, we can see Mary Beth's picture and then we can hear your voice. Would that work for you?
In the meantime, I could talk to you about the volunteers a little bit.
Yeah, let's talk about the volunteers and the type of clothing you're looking for, because we don't want all the old lady stuff. We're still not getting you, Cathy.
Right. Nope, not working. So I don't know what she was going to say, and hopefully she'll get it fixed because she knows the immediate needs. But I will say that we have volunteers associated with the clothing closet that receive donations and sort them. If they look like they're, you know, maybe just too out of date for someone for school, we will forward them to another nonprofit to still be used. But they also, are people that will put them on hangers, people that shop with someone to come through the boutique.
Nope, Cathy's still not working.
I know that we need boys' clothes a lot. I mean, a lot of times it's very hard to get boys' clothes. It's just something like if you were to, they want to wear what everybody else is wearing. So when they are getting these clothes, it's just like other kids are going shopping. They would like to have that same kind of experience. They feel like they've got something new and fresh. So it does need to be covered.
Well, and we can Cliff, let's go ahead and mute Kathy. Can we do that? And I'll let her know that that's not working vocally. And maybe she could call back again, chat on the phone. There she is. This is not working for us very well today. I'm assuming it's because of the thunderstorm that is going on. At any rate, the clothing can be donated to Graceway Village, and it can be anywhere from toddler size clothing all the way to adult size clothing, but it should be stylish that kids can wear to school, and keeping in mind that teenagers wear, you know, regular adult stuff, but don't just clean the old stuff from the back of the closet that is really old. Also, if you have kids and you're getting ready for school now and you've noticed that they've grown and you have to buy them new stuff, this is a good time to just take their old stuff and put it in a bag and bring it over, or leave it on the hangers even, and bring it over to Grace.
Yeah, it's definitely a busy time. So they'll be going through a lot of clothes, going out the door. You know, it's just shopping for school.
Yeah, and this is the time, especially the back to school time, where kids, the boutique style lends it to where the kids can come in and shop, and they feel a lot of the last time I was over there were some things that were donated that still had their original price tags on them.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
if you're like me and you bought stuff for your kids that they didn't approve of, that wasn't the color they liked or what they wanted, just bring it over to Graceway.
Yeah, it is a really nice shopping experience. I'm gonna have to say is, I'm not like a thrift store person per se. A lot of times I don't like the feel of those, but going at the clothing closet, it feels like a real shopping experience. You know, you're not sorting through a bunch of stuff. It's hung up nicely. It's really cute. I mean, I've been in there, and even the little kid stuff, sometimes it's like, oh my gosh. You know, so cute.
It's funny because when my daughter was in school, a lot of times we would donate her stuff from the year before that she didn't want to wear anymore. And she'd go in and she'd be one of the students that helped sort clothes. Yep. And she'd come home and she'd go, Mom, there's so much neat stuff that I would really go shopping there. I said, well, you can't have it because it belongs to somebody else. And it gives those kids an opportunity to feel like they're starting school on an equal footing with the other students in their class.
Yeah, and especially for a teenager, to be able to go to a place that feels special and not like you're going to get some, you know, some junk, you know, that you come in there and it's a nice shopping experience and you come away with stuff that other people that are wearing.
Yes, the current stuff. So this is a good time. If you haven't been through your children's closet or through your closet, if you wear a size that could be translated, because honestly, some of those 15, 16, 17-year-old teenagers wear adult sizes too.
Sure.
So go through your closet, see what you've got. Or when you're school shopping, if you come across a really good buy, but it's not your kid's size, go ahead, throw it in the cart and bring it over to Graceway. How often do you guys take donations? Are you there on a per day basis, or?
It's not there every day. I wish this is when we need Cathy to tell you the days, but I know that sometimes people bring bags that they actually leave at the door if they're not open. I mean,
and there's an undercover area where you
yes.
can do that. So that's okay if you get there and there's nobody there to take your bag.
I don't know if you can hear me.
underwear and socks, because they give those away on a regular basis, and those, need to be new.
And they need to be new. Thank you for stressing that, Mary Beth,
Yeah.
because it's absolutely true. You don't want to give away somebody's old underwear and socks unless you have packages that,
Yep.
Came again, maybe you got the wrong kind of socks. Maybe you got the wrong size and they're still in the package, they're still brand new. So because every one of the kids in the family who comes to the shop gets, in addition to the outfits they pick out, they also get the socks and the underwear when it's available.
Yeah, so we need those often.
So you also need volunteers to sort the clothes, volunteers to work the boutique. A lot of opportunities for students, not just during the summer, but all during the school year too, to get their community service hours.
Yep, in the boutique or at the in one way, shape, or form in the cafe, because the meal prep and boxing it up. And we have a volunteer coordinator, Lori Peters, that contacting Graceway, she could put you in the right spot for your availability and the needs.
Well, we can talk a little bit about the website, because there's a lot of information that people can get on the website, and that's www.gracewayvillage.org, correct? Or
I believe so, but I'm on my phone and
okay.
my computer died on me.
We're just a mess today. You talk about pivoting. This is like the ultimate pivoting. Thank you to the storm, who's made it more challenging, you might say.
Yes.
So as we're talking, I'm actually going to pull up the website up so I can make sure that everybody has all the correct information. But it is www.gracewayvillage.com.
Okay, because I was like, I probably have on my desk here somewhere.
And the free meals are available Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday from 5 to 6 p.m. And the clothing boutique is open on Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 10 to 2 p.m.
Yay, thank you.
So you can get more information. You can also get on the mailing list for Graceway Village's newsletter, and you can find out more about what the different opportunities are for volunteering through the website as well. There's also social media. You have Instagram, you have Facebook, of course, and Twitter, and you could follow Graceway Village on any of those things. And
you can donate at our site.
You can donate right there at the website. And you also have the opportunity to click on any of those, and it'll lead you straight to the social media. So again, the clothing boutique is open Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And people can volunteer. You always need volunteers as well for Graceway, for the feeding program too, for the nights that you're feeding.
Yep.
Cathy can hear, so she can type some stuff in, and we can communicate it that way, which is convenient.
I hear her laughing. Maybe her volume is working.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm so excited. So your voice doesn't wobble again. It's starting to wobble again.
Oh well.
Yeah. All right. Well, so anyhow,
Hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes.
No.
Okay, the family supported living facility, can you hear me?
Yes.
No. Oh,
We did hear you. Did it stop?
darn.
Cliff, do you
Keep
think
on,
it makes
y'all.
any difference if we called Cathy?
Joe, I don't know how that would work.
Okay, all right, we can't do that, so.
Uh.
All right, well, Mary Beth and I are just gonna power on through then, and we're gonna look at Cathy's pretty face, and she's gonna type things in and smile at us. Mary Beth, whatever you're making, you get a raise. Yes, I know your job is volunteer.
Yeah.
But anyhow, double the gratitude because you're obviously very dedicated at what you do. There's
My power is flashing on and off.
as the power is flashing on and off. Pivot, 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 as they would say on Friends. So the two main programs are the two of the programs that are going to be addressed when you have the new living facility, and you're moving forward with that with the donations as well.
Yes.
And
We're going to continue what we have, but we need to, be able to fund all this additional efforts and support.
And do you have special events that you are planning that you're aware of in the near future?
No, we don't. We kind of took a hiatus on the special events. COVID did that.
Yeah, it will. And so you're going to move forward cautiously.
Yeah.
So question, and you may or may not know the answer to this, but when Cathy talked about how you moved from feeding 150 a week to feeding over 1,000 a week, how were you able to do that?
I'm going to tell you, volunteers, and it was a very small key group of volunteers that were there really practically every day. They didn't want a whole lot of people at that point.
Right.
So it was kept small, and bless their hearts because they put in a bunch of hours. It really fell hard on a very small group of people. Plus, besides the fact of, us wanting to limit it, people didn't want to come either,
Right.
to help necessarily. And at one point, we had to back up. So, something had happened with our cook. And so we had Crystal, operations manager, forging ahead. I think that was in December, and doing all the meals and cooking. And I think Cathy was out of town, but it was really a bit of a struggle, but their desire was huge. Their hearts are huge. And I think they were relieved when Cathy's typed something, but I can't read it because my phone is
Mary Beth, where did you get the food? Where did the extra food come from?
We had the community that donated money that, through grants and whatnot. We had people that were coming alongside of us, and just, individuals that were contributing. It was amazing how the community supported us.
I know that, Cathy also mentioned there's a large group of volunteers who have faithfully served throughout, but also restaurants and locals dropped off trays and trays of food. So restaurants, especially stepped up to the plate, we could say, and brought in food. You partnered, I know Graceway partnered also with the Boys and Girls Club, and I know for a while with the Women's Club, but they say it takes a village, and certainly during a pandemic, that's never more true than this. So, and I know you also pivoted, so the food that the families picked up was drive-through. Is the food
Yes,
still being supplied drive-through, or do people come and sit down?
it is being picked up at the facility at a drive-through manner right now. And then, we picked up, as Kathy already said, that we picked up delivering to motel rooms. And we still deliver to the facilities where the people are kind of homebound.
Okay.
So,
And I need to correct myself that that the Women's Club was not one of the contributors, but it was the food bank in a big way, and they brought in a lot of food that you were able to distribute, because a lot of the donations at the time, especially at the national level, were coming in to the food banks during the pandemic. And so since Graceway had the structure already, that you were able to, take your giving away free foods and increase the amount of nights that you were doing. So the food distribution, to be clear, is still drive-through only.
yes.
And also distribution too. So I know you have 3 of the senior living communities and other rooming houses where you are delivering food too. And Mary Beth, you're part of this, the delivery service, but that's something that you all always need volunteers for.
Yes, it is. Especially with the pickup of some of the motel locations, we're trying to cover those motels. Like we just had a new one added recently. So I mean, some of the things continue to grow. The senior facilities, those meal levels have pretty much been status quo. We're growing in those other areas that you talked about, where people are having to have temporary housing.
And I know that Ignite Youth Alliance, the organization that works with kids who are threatened with gang involvement, they pick up their meals for kids and families too. So there's another opportunity is organizations who have a need can reach out and contact either Crystal or Kathy at Graceway, and maybe set up where you can get the food delivered to them. I do want to say that Kathy has a lot more information about the Family Restorative Living Facility, and I know that that there's a couple, William and Elizabeth Turney, who are their lead donors and very involved with getting the money together. So they can call her or call Crystal at 772-529-7860. That's 772-529-7860. So if you are looking for a project, if you're listening to this show and you're looking for a project that will really make a tremendous difference in the community, so many people, the Family Restorative Living Facility is definitely an important thing. And keep in mind, it's not a shelter. It's not just a place where families go as a shelter. It's a place where families who are looking for self-sufficiency. So they're looking for that hand up to be able to take care of themselves. So what you see in the future for the Family Restorative Living Facility is a place where people will have an opportunity to learn how to live independently and move on at some point to living independently by partnering with area nonprofits and businesses to be a part of help and support to them and the people that they're already serving. Because, you know, there's a lot of nonprofit organizations, especially under the United Way umbrella, and they have specific needs and audiences that they are serving. And in all of those audiences, there are that group of people who need that extra leg up and might need a temporary place for a family to come together, to be together, to have the food, to have the shelter, and learn to be self-sufficient. And that sounds really like what the Family Restorative Living Facility is going to be. So,
Yep. Exactly. You know, for a short term, potentially up to 3 months, with an additional 15 months when there's more work that needs to be done. Was not necessarily, you know, a temporary loss of job or whatnot, something that, you know, more education that might need to be involved, heavier case management situation.
So if you're listening to this show, there's a lot of opportunities for you to get involved. You can get involved in the fundraising for the Family Restorative Living facility. You can also partner, the Graceway is partnering with the Community Foundation, and people can donate through the Community Foundation for the capital campaign that way. You can also connect online. Again, that's www.gracewayvillage.com. And you'll see all of the links to the social media there through the different media channels, through Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. You can reach out, or you can reach out directly to Cathy. Again, her number is, let's see if I can go back up to it. We have the outro music coming. I would say that the best bet is to go to the website, www.gracewayvillage.com. Mary Beth Cullins, the board chair of Graceway Village, has been my guest, along with Cathy Mouring, the executive director. You guys putting this together in the middle of a thunderstorm where our electricity has been going in and out has been a challenge on its own. We're so happy that you were a part of it and that we were able to do this. Thank you for joining me today. We will see you next time with more, and maybe next time we'll be back in the studio as well. Take care.
Thank you, Sue-Ellen.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie.